Are you actually kidding?
Actually serious. Now we are.
Are you freaking kidding? Out of literally, like, how many years have we been doing this? This is the first time you've ever done that.
Never done that before. I quit.
Oh my God.
Okay, I'm retiring from podcasting as of today. Sorry, Wyatt.
God. Welcome back to Feast or Famine with the Youngs.
We're the Youngs, and Alex made a big old mistake.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Wyatt is a busy man. Okay, you can't make these mistakes.
Hey, he's off for the weekend now.
I am actually.
Okay, we have
So
this
I forgot to hit record, and we missed a whole lot of good stuff. So I apologize. We might try to repeat it.
I'm not faking any of it.
I don't remember what we said.
We were talking about the temperature and like girl math, and like it was really good, and now it's like in the wind.
Oh yeah, girl math.
Ruined.
I'm irritated. So, anyway, we have an amazing guest today. We have Wyatt, Dr. Mohrmann. He is a chiropractor. Go ahead and introduce yourself for the second time.
It was just practice
I'm so
last
sorry,
time.
Wyatt. Oh my God.
I'm going to go ahead and
guys.
see myself
Alex,
out
just
here.
like leave. It's just going to be me and Wyatt, honestly. I'm over it.
Remember, we don't know what we're doing, and clearly...
Is this your first podcast?
The joke is that
It's supposed to
we
be a
know
joke.
what we're doing.
It's supposed to be a joke.
And this is the I don't know what I'm doing podcast. But Alex
apparently doesn't
took it
actually
too seriously
know.
today.
I mean, there's a lot of buttons on there, so I don't blame
I'm
you.
like gonna roast you. So okay.
Whoopsie.
Anyway, thank you for being here,
Whoopsie.
Wyatt.
Thanks for
Thank
having me.
you for
I'm excited.
Your patience with Alex.
Hey, that was a very fun first 10 minutes.
Literally 10 minutes, guys. Like, we were talking, having a whole ass conversation. I'm so irritated. Okay, let me just
shit.
recap. We met Wyatt at Chloe's, well, we actually didn't meet Wyatt at Chloe's wedding, but you were at Chloe's wedding.
I was, yep.
And I said that we need to find footage of you on the dance floor or something.
You're not going to find me on the dance
Now I
floor,
gotta
I'll tell
find
you
out.
that.
Were you not on the dance floor at all?
Barely.
Really?
I was cleaning up wine off the floor.
Really?
Somebody
good
spilled
guy.
a bunch of wine, so I was
Wait,
trying
was
to
it
clean it up.
the bridal party member or the girl that... I think it was during the bouquet toss. I got
don't
footage
remember
of
that.
somebody spilling wine.
Yeah, I do remember that. That was hilarious.
Yeah. Okay. Did you already introduce yourself? I'm sorry.
You
I'm
did. Everything
I'm
happened. We record a whole podcast.
Okay, so we see Wyatt every week. What I love about your practice is that obviously you do chiropractic, and that's important for what we do for our job, but you align it with like healthy lifestyle, movement, exercise, and things like that, which has motivated us to get back into the gym after being out for a year.
I am so sore this week.
Yeah, like we're barely making it.
It's real bad.
Yeah, we're barely making it, but we're doing it. We went 3
First
days
few
this
weeks are
week.
rough.
We went 3 days, which is like better than no days.
Yeah. 3 days is better than what most people do.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
good stuff.
yeah. So I just, your like lifestyle and mindset and everything aligns a lot with us. And so that's why we wanted to have you on here. And I've already said all of this,
And,
so I'm frustrated.
I totally like ruined this. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm like,
We're only human, guys.
you are making your own dinner tonight. I don't
Oof.
care if it's mac and
I'm
cheese.
ordering
bro.
Chinese food
You're
then.
on your own. That's fine.
Healthy
Not cooking
food.
for you. Healthy food?
Yeah.
Chinese is not healthy, Wyatt.
No, I said
That's
you
what he
need
said,
to eat healthy food.
Oh.
It's Friday.
Oh.
Cheat day?
No, that's not cheat day because Veronica made us get Taco Bell that day.
Ooh. Guys,
You're going to out me. I'm going to out you.
I'm a sucker for Taco Bell.
I-
I'll be
It's
straight
the
up
They
with you.
had new
literal-
things on their menu, okay?
It's so trash for you, but it's so good.
bad.
I had to give it a try.
So anyway, what we said was how you treat yourself is usually an indication of how your business is, which business is doing well, but, you know, we're going to make it better by making ourselves better.
Healthy lifestyle, healthy mindset, healthy business, you know, growth.
So let's recap what we've already talked about your background,
Yeah.
where you came from, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm Dr. Wyatt Mohrmann. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
So I went to Logan University, graduated in December of 21. So I've been practicing for a couple of years now. I'm at Health Source of Baldwin, right there on Manchester behind Joey B's. It's been a pretty wild ride, really enjoying it. So I grew up in Wright City, Missouri. If you guys don't know where that is, it's just past Wentzville on 70 West. Very small town.
There's like nothing
It's
there.
like two
Literally.
exits, right?
Our siblings live there.
There's
like nothing
more
there.
there than there was when I was there.
Yeah.
There was literally only a McDonald's. And all my friends worked there, so I got free food. It was kind of sick. But
How come the middle of nowhere McDonald's and fast food
Are always
places
the
are always the
best.
best ones?
it's
On
like
road
Waffle
trips?
House. The worse off it is, the better the food is.
Yeah.
It's the same
Yeah.
thing,
I
same
would
deal.
agree with you.
Yeah, there's also 8 gas stations and 12 churches or something like that. All those
None
small
of them are
towns.
Quick Trips.
Nope.
Yeah.
Guys, I love Quick Trip.
I
Don't
love
even
Quick
get me
Trip.
down that rabbit hole. Yeah, grew up there. I went to Lindenwood University for my undergraduate degree. Played football there. Did track for a little bit. I was exercise science, nutrition, strength conditioning. Did not want to do chiropractic to start. I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I'll kind of go back to me growing up. I grew up in extreme poverty. It was me, my mom and dad, brother and sister lived in a 2-bedroom trailer. My parents had a room and my sister had the other room. So that left the living room for me and my brother. So my brother, I'm 6'3", 275. My brother's like an inch taller than me and weighs more than I do. So he's also a big fella.
Is he older or younger?
He's
than you?
older. So
Okay.
he's 8 years older. My sister's 6 years older.
Okay.
So growing
you're the
up,
baby.
I am the baby.
Okay.
Yeah. So we actually shared a couch for like 6 years.
How does that work?
Head to foot.
Like it wasn't like a sofa sleeper. It was just a regular couch.
It was a regular couch.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And then eventually we got like one of the pull-out ones with the mattress. So that
I
was
think
nice.
I know why you became a chiropractor.
Yeah, because my freaking back hurts.
You're like,
Most-
let me fill this need.
Exactly. Most
Yeah.
people that are chiropractors do it because they were hurt and fixed by a chiropractor. So
Yeah.
yeah, growing up, didn't have a whole lot, but my parents kind of made do with what they could do and still got us everything that we wanted to
Good.
have. So that was nice. Going through school, I was not the best student because I wasn't really pushed to go to school. Like I wasn't told, hey, you need to go to college. Hey, you need to try. They were just like, you need to go to school.
When you
and
say
learn.
you didn't do well in school, do you mean in college?
No, I did great in college.
Okay.
So just
Why
through
not high
like
school?
middle school, high school, I just didn't apply myself because
Okay.
I didn't really care about the material. I didn't like all I cared about was sports by the time I got to high school. So I started playing football in 8th grade. I was short and chubby up until 8th grade. I was just like a little meatball all through middle school.
I called myself a dinner roll yesterday. And Veronica said, I love dinner rolls.
Yeah, today I don't like them.
Oh,
Ouch. Because I forgot to
Scorch.
hit record.
I'm going to leave them in the oven.
I'm never going to live this down,
Gonna
guys.
be a crispy dinner roll later.
Never going
a
to.
crouton that I smash.
Can I at least be a crispy Hawaiian roll?
No. Okay,
Anyway, you were a meatball.
That was a meatball. And then about 7th, 8th grade, I started getting some height. Ended up being probably about 6 foot 250 in 8th grade. And my best friend Greg was like, we should try out for football this year. I was terrified because up until then, like I said, I didn't play any sports. I was like, I don't know, man,
So you
that
didn't know how
sounds
to
hard.
handle all
No.
the new growth that you
Yeah,
have.
I was like a
No
baby deer
sports
trying to walk.
contact heavy sport.
Exactly. So, I mean, I didn't lift weights. I split wood and stuff at home. That was like my exercise at the
He
time.
was country strong.
I was country strong. So we started playing football and it actually ended up being the best thing that I could ever ask for because it taught me the structure and the discipline that I didn't have growing up because my parents were, like I said, good, but they were just kind of hands off and let us just do what we wanted.
Yeah.
How did football apply discipline in your life?
Well, if you were late to practice or if you messed up, then you had to run hill sprints and do barrel rolls and bear crawls until you puked. So
Yeah.
you weren't late because
So
that stuff sucked.
be on top of your game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and just having like the team mindset, having people that you didn't want to let down.
And accountability.
Exactly.
Like
That's
if you're on an offensive line and you don't do your job, the quarterback's getting sacked.
exactly. And then the whole
I
team
know nothing
suffers.
about football, so like I had to ask that question.
You're gonna learn today.
You're gonna learn today.
But yeah, I think that's what, and ultimately that was my ticket out of Wright City. So going through high school, like I said, I had like a 2.8 GPA. Didn't really care that much about it, but by the time I got to my senior year, I had a few offers for some colleges, which
Good.
was cool. And I was
Yeah.
like, sweet, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to figure out what I want to do. And then I got recruited to play at a school in Kansas, Mid-America Nazarene. It's like an NAIA school. So I
know
went out
there.
there, did my visit and everything. They had my jersey with my name on it. It was super
Oh.
fancy. So I was like, oh, sick, I'm going to come here. And then like a week before camp started, they passed a rule that you couldn't stack scholarships. So I wasn't going to be able to stack like my A+ scholarship, athletic, academic. It was just you had to pick one.
Was it all NAIA schools that did that?
I have no idea.
I feel like Lindenwood was like that when I was there.
Probably.
Maybe not. I don't know.
He's a lot.
I'm an old
younger than
man.
you,
We didn't even
so-
have A plus when I was around.
Damn, you are old.
Was
Yeah.
was Lindenwood L or NAI when you were there?
No, they were bumped up to Division II
See,
when I got
I'm
there.
just an old man. Anyway, continue.
So they passed that rule. I was going to have to pay just an obscene amount out of pocket. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I can't do this. I don't have
Yeah.
any money. So I wound up, my friend from high school, Trent, played running back at Emporia State in Kansas, which wasn't that far away from there. So I was like, I'm going to go see if I can walk on to the football team there. So I talked to the coach. He was going to let me try out, signed up for classes, was going to room with my buddy. And then 2 weeks before camp, my dad had a heart attack.
Oh.
So he was the only one working at the time. So I couldn't leave. Like my conscience wouldn't let me leave. So I stayed back to kind of help out.
Did you get like a job and
yeah.
help kind of
So-
stabilize that?
Just started working, trying to help out as much as I could. And I didn't know what I was going to do. It was actually probably the first time in my life I had actual anxiety, because here I was thinking I finally was like making it out of this place, and then boom,
Pulled
it
right
was
back in.
taken away. So I would have like these mini blackouts. Like I'd be driving. You know how like when you're tired and you like fall asleep and you don't realize you fall asleep?
And you
Yeah.
jolted
And then you
awake.
like jolt awake. It was like that, but I wasn't tired. It was just like my anxiety was like doing that to me.
That's terrifying.
It was pretty weird.
Wow.
I was also 320 pounds in my senior year of high school, so there could have been something going on there too with my
Yeah.
health.
Was
maybe.
that just because of like lack of understanding like nutrition and proper exercise and stuff, or is it just you were just a big guy?
So my freshman year, I was about 6'1", 260, and then started like lifting a bunch. And then my junior year, I was probably the biggest and strongest I'd been. I was at about 280, but not a fat 280, like a pretty strong 280. And then I was like, oh, if I'm going to go play college football, I need to be over 300 pounds. So I started going up to McDonald's, the only thing in Wright City where all my friends worked, and
Yeah.
I would get food for free
Okay,
all the
what
time.
was your order?
Oh,
God, I'm just like,
Double quarter pounder.
2 double quarter
Two.
pounders.
Good lord, man.
2 McChickens, 2 McDoubles, and a big drink and a fry
get out. That you could put that all down.
every day.
Did you ever order a
Holy
McGangbang?
crap.
Yeah,
Did you ever order a McGangbang?
of course.
Oh my
course.
God.
That's what the 2 McChickens and 2
what
McDoubles
I'm
are
saying.
for.
You
2
put them together?
McGangbangs. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Have you never heard of that?
No.
It's a secret menu
Do
item.
you like
It's called a
like
McGangbang.
literally build it together, or you like eat it?
If you
in
go up to
one?
McDonald's and order that, you need to record yourself saying, "I want a McGangbang."
and see if they actually know what that is.
I will die laughing
If
you do
they
that.
actually give that to you, that would be incredible.
They
Okay,
have
but
to.
did you like assemble it
Yeah.
and like eat it?
Yeah.
How tall was that? Like taller than your head, probably. Like,
No.
No. It's McDonald's. The picture
You
is
just
not
kind of
what it
smash
actually
them
is.
down.
Oh.
Yeah, they're little bitty patties.
oh my gosh.
You know what's funny? You mentioned that about you want to go to college and play football, you have to be 300 pounds. I feel like that mindset in college sports, it might have changed now because it's been a while, but that's how it was when I was in college. So I graduated high school at 135 pounds. I was the complete opposite of you.
Yeah,
I was a
geez.
small guy. I was athletic still. I played baseball. I played soccer. I did everything. I swam. I did everything. I went to college at UMSL first to play baseball
On a scholarship.
on a scholarship. And they told me, the coach said, you need to gain weight. You need to gain weight. You need to gain weight. You need to gain at least 20 pounds, 20, 30 pounds. So the entire time I'm in college, I'm thinking, I'm too small. I got to lift weights. And it was almost became an obsessive thing for me.
Yeah.
Oh, it did.
Because, I mean, and at Lindenwood, when I transferred, because I ended up at Lindenwood too, baseball coach did the same thing. And ultimately, after a couple years of playing, I decided to stop because I need to focus on other things and money. That we don't need to get into that. But I didn't know what to do with my extra time, and I was in the gym 2.5 hours every single day.
It's a long time.
And I
to be in
gained the
gym.
weight. I was at 185 pounds
Thick boy.
with like 6% body fat.
He couldn't
Yeah.
put his arms down, guys. Like
But
literally.
I do think that like that mentality in going into college sports is partially what causes things like you, who would go to McDonald's just thinking I got to gain weight just because that's what is required.
Yeah, and like what you said earlier, I didn't have the nutrition knowledge
Mm-hmm.
or anything. So I was like, oh, if I just eat all these calories and keep lifting weights and do what I'm doing, I'm just going to get big and strong. No, I got chubby. I was big and strong, but I also was very unhealthy.
yeah.
But after signing up for the Emporium, my dad having the heart attack and everything, like I said, I didn't know what I was going to do. So I ended up getting a call from a recruiting coach from Lindenwood that was like, hey, we're looking for offensive linemen. Do you want to come try out? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I got dropped off there actually the day after my birthday, which my birthday is this Sunday. Let's go.
So it was second semester you actually started.
Yeah, I was in the spring term. So they just dropped me off. I had no freaking clue what I was doing at all. Cause like I said, I had to take the dummy English class whenever I got there. Cause I like just didn't know stuff. So, I didn't know how to like type papers and all this other stuff, which was crazy. So they got dropped off there. I wound up walking on to football and track, made the team for both of them. So my first year I was in 17 credit hours, working a job and doing 2 sports.
17?
Yeah.
Dang.
It sucked. So my original major was environmental biology because
I was going to ask you what your original major was.
I wanted to develop alternative fuel sources. I thought that would be cool.
That's
interesting.
ambitious.
That's interesting. I was in mechanical engineering because I wanted to develop cars.
Well, look at that.
Yeah.
That's why we get along. And then I took my first chemistry class and I said,
F that.
yeah, no. So
Same.
I looked back, I was like, well, what am I good at? What do I enjoy? And I was like, I really like working out from playing sports and I'm good at it. So I was like, I'm going to try exercise science. And it was probably the best decision I've made. Cause I did really find it interesting.
Did exercise science.
I was in the, aging myself again, I was in the first class of exercise science in Lindenwood.
Dude, you should get a plaque.
I should.
That's funny.
That's a story for another day, though.
Yeah.
I can tell you more about that off mic.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed exercise science, and I went to the strength conditioning route, which by the end of it, I was so burnt out on athletics. I wound up quitting track a little bit later because I got a scholarship for football. So I was like, I'm not going to do both of them if I don't need to. So I stuck with football the rest of the time. And let's see what happened. So I graduated from Lindenwood, and I realized I was pretty burnt out on athletics after playing football for those years and not being that successful at it.
It's a lot of time and
yeah.
effort in any college sport.
Oh, we had
So
like 7-hour meetings of watching films sometimes.
that's why I stopped. Because
Just getting
like,
ripped.
I got to the point where I'm like, I'm not going to make it pro.
Yeah.
I understood that. And the amount of time that's taken up is just a lot.
Yeah.
Like just the sport itself.
Like I knew I wasn't going to go play in the NFL or anything. I just stuck around and played because I enjoyed my friends
Yeah.
that I played with. And I was like, I'm not going to leave these guys hanging.
Because like all year round, and you got morning practices every other day. You got evening practices every day, even
Weights every
in the
morning.
off seasons.
Interesting.
Yeah. So whenever I graduated, I was like, I don't think I want to do the strength conditioning because I just kind of want to distance myself from athletes for a little while. So I actually moved out to Columbia, and I just tried to find like a personal training job out there to use my degree. And I wound up working at 9 Round. It was like a kickboxing fitness
Oh
gym.
my God.
Can we talk about 9 Round for a second?
No.
We've got a 9 Round pair of boxing gloves in our closet that she
Oh,
barely
sounds like
touched.
she didn't go.
That shit is hard.
It's very hard. I
That
lost
shit
100
is
pounds doing it.
hard. I think that
You should go back and see if they'll give you a discount because you
No.
already have gloves.
I think there's only one left.
I signed
Really?
up for it, and I think that I made it 2 weeks. And I was like, I am not cut out for this. Like, this is not the path for me. And I just like had to let go of the fact that I invested money in my membership, and I bought the gloves, and I did all the things, and I gave it a solid try. Not for me.
She's a lover, not a
Fun
fighter.
fact, who was your roommate in Columbia?
So I actually moved out there for a girl that I was dating at the time.
That's not the round I'm talking about. Can you?
Oh, Kenya Dennis.
Yeah.
He was my roommate back here in St. Louis. So
Oh, okay.
I did work with him at 9 Round though.
Okay.
So he was a trainer there too. I ended up becoming the manager at 9 Round. So we brought him in, and we actually were really good friends. So when I got accepted to Logan, I moved back here to St. Louis. The woman that I'm married to now is the one that I started dating when I got there. Okay. That's a whole confusing situation. We don't need to talk about that.
Yeah.
But so she kind of actually pushed me into chiropractic, which was awesome.
What was the shift for you where you were like, hey, maybe I'll pursue chiropractic?
Yeah, so it actually started when I was at Lindenwood my freshman year. I was on a podcast last week and I talked about this just a little bit, but there was a little more detail to it. So when I was doing both sports, I had to max out on squats on a Friday for football and then max out on squats again that Monday for track, or vice versa. I can't remember. But I had like a bunch of hip pain, and every time I would try to squat, it would hurt. So I was like,
sure.
I'm going to go back home and go to this chiropractor that I always got my physicals from and see if he can adjust me. So I went back there, got adjusted, and I shit you not, my squat max went up by 100 pounds.
Just one adjustment.
That
Just
time,
from
I
an
swear,
adjustment.
I was like,
One adjustment.
and I will to the day I die, that happened to me. I don't think I'm ever going to get that for somebody else because I don't know what that was about.
It was probably because you slept on a couch most of your life and your hips were that
just
bad
got-
that
I was
just
gonna
one
say-
bit of adjustment is all you needed.
I was going to say that it's, hopefully I'm not making an ass of myself, but it's probably pretty rare to go to have a pain, go to a chiropractor, and then the next day.
Oh, it's really rare.
It's like,
I've had,
like gone
in my 3
completely.
years, I've had maybe 2 people that
Yeah.
I've adjusted once and they've been 100% since then.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very rare because most of the time pain is not where the issue is. It's
Right.
coming from somewhere else that you have to address. But yeah, that kind of got me interested in it because I was like, whoa, there's got to
like,
be
what is this voodoo?
something to this if I just jumped my squat max up by this much. So I kind of put it on the back burner. And then in one of my foundations exercise science classes, a chiropractor came and talked to us, and he played college football. We kind of hit it off. He played offensive line also. So I played offensive line in college. So we had a pretty good relationship. I went and shadowed Logan for a project, and I thought it was just a cool campus, cool facility. It was more of the sports medicine side of it. So they were in there doing like needling on people, rehabbing this girl's ACL injury, and I was like, this is actually really cool. So I had it on my back burner. Whenever I moved out to Columbia, things just kept kind of lining up, pushing me in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be at different things like a health fair for the gym. There'd be a chiropractor next to me, and I would just pick their brain about like, hey, what do you think about your profession? Like, what do you do? Because I still didn't know that much about it. And then the lady, her name's Dr. Ashley. She still works in Columbia, but she invited me to come shadow at her office. I wound up working for her, just working front desk and filing stuff away for her and just kind of shadowing while I was
Getting,
there.
like,
Yeah, just getting some
rhythm.
experience.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. She mainly did a lot of like pediatrics, which was cool to see. Terrifies me. I'm not.
I was
doing
gonna say,
that.
have you ever
You
done
said that you don't like doing
kiddos?
that.
No.
Have you ever done any
You see the
kiddos
size of
before?
these hands?
I know.
You crush a child.
Well, I've asked you about like elderly,
Yeah.
and you do that.
I do. Yeah, they're little.
But you've never done any
Kids
kiddos.
are resilient. I think that
gonna
once I
say-
have my own children and get more comfortable with them, I'll
Say,
be able to do
if
it.
you're
but
comfortable with elderly people, I feel like kids are
probably
easy.
easier.
kids are probably
not as
pretty easy,
fragile.
but I don't know. Kids just freak me out still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've adjusted kids that are like 5 and up, but not a baby.
So was she doing like infant
Oh, yeah.
chiropractic? Jeez.
Yeah, just some
I've seen
cool
like
stuff.
I've seen some kids that have like hip issues or leg issues right before they're able to walk, but like they have routine chiropractic visits
Yeah.
so they can like actually walk properly.
There's some really cool one story that one of the doctors from a different health source was telling me that his son, you know how the kids, they put those helmets on when their heads are a different shape. So his son had the misshapen head because he always laid with his head to one side.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So they were going to put this helmet on him, and the doctor was like, hey, like, the chiropractor was like, let me like take a look at him and figure out maybe why he's always bringing his head to this side.
Yeah.
So he just did an assessment on him and was like, found out that all of his muscles on this side were really tight. So every time he tried to turn this way, it was painful for him.
he
So
just
he would
didn't.
just
So he
lean
just-
this way.
yeah.
So he just started working on him, just doing some soft tissue stuff and adjusting him, and his head shape returned back to normal because he was able to bring his head back. And the
Wow.
MD was like, I've never seen anything like this before. Normally we always have to use these helmets.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just thought that was a cool story.
Yeah.
And the helmet's probably making it worse because it's heavier.
Yeah. So, I mean, it takes forever for those things to work.
Yeah.
I shadowed at that office for a little bit and I really liked it. And then I started going, before that, I was actually going to another chiropractor, Dr. Taylor, that was out there. And I got a lot more of the business aspect from him. He was a little bit more high volume. So he just saw a lot of people. And it was cool that he saw a lot of people, but every time he was in there, or all of his staff, they were so personable that you still felt like you were getting a good experience. Like it wasn't like you were just like, oh, hey, see you later.
like
type
Yeah.
deal.
Which
Exactly.
I've gone to a couple different chiropractors. I went to one, actually it's funny that you mentioned the physical thing because I went to one like in Overland
The one that I used to
had
go
to
to.
go to. I had to go there for my physical for cheerleading. And then I just started going there like just because. And then I got into a car accident and then I had to like go there for insurance and stuff like that. And then I started to go to like an all women's one, which I thought was really cool.
It was pretty cool.
Except it was an office where they just adjust you and you're on your way. And so I didn't know that there's so many different things that go into like chiropractic and actually like how important it is until I started coming to your office.
See, and I knew that part was important, but I didn't realize chiropractors did that.
Yeah.
Because like I had a back injury when I was in swim season in high school, I used to do butterfly, but I like slipped a disc because I guess I was tight on one side or something, and I like twisted the wrong way while I was swimming, and I like couldn't move. So I went to the chiropractor, and he adjusted me every week. And I think because I was exercising in the pool and everything every day, that's what actually helped me get better. But they didn't do anything except adjust me and put stim on my back.
Yeah, slip disc is kind of a made up term, so I'll let that slide.
Okay, so it's not what I had.
No, probably not. But a lot of people think that like the adjustment is the end all be all. I really just think of it as one tool in the toolbox. It's a good way to help with pain relief, to get an immediate change in your range of motion so you feel like you have that motion back. But then if you don't take that person and do exercises with them, they're not going to keep that range of motion. That's why like these places that you come in and get an adjustment, you go every week forever, because you're like, by the time that week creeps back up, you're like, man, I'm feeling it again. I need to get back in there. But if you adjust somebody and they have that range of motion, and then you go take them through that range of motion with strength, that's going to tell their brain, hey, it's safe for me to be in this range of motion now. Let's keep it.
Yeah.
Because usually your brain will make your muscles around an area tight and restrict your range of motion because it thinks that if you go in that way, you're going to hurt. It's like a lot of people struggle to bend over and touch their toes, and their lower back hurts because their body's making it tight there so that they don't hurt themselves.
Yeah.
But if you can get that range of motion back and then train in that position, then the brain's going to be like, okay, you're allowed to be here now because you're strong here.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the whole premise behind how we practice is obviously we do adjustments and soft tissue and laser and stem and all these things to get people moving better and feeling better. But the biggest thing is the rehab, because that's focusing on changing how their body moves and their biomechanics.
Because you're doing that to eliminate that tightness so that they can do those things.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how has like the life and like the career that you have built now, is it anything like you ever thought that like you would be? Like, did you think that you would be living like a completely different lifestyle?
Definitely not.
Based off of where you came from?
No. So I had no idea. Where were we? We were kind of talking about the thing before, like in Columbia, before I got back to Logan, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So rewind to way back when we were living in Wright City. There's like a big drug problem in Wright City.
Yeah.
So my siblings kind of fell into some of that. So here's me thinking I'm probably going down the same path because everybody around me is. But fortunately, football, like I said, kind of pulled me out of that. And then now my brother and sister are doing great. They're awesome.
That's
they have
awesome.
their kids, their houses and everything, which is cool. But yeah, I didn't think that I was ever really going to amount to anything. That switch kind of flipped whenever I was at Lindenwood. So my first year, I didn't talk to a whole lot of people because I was just trying to figure everything out and figure out who I was as a person. And then about halfway through, like it kind of flipped a switch and I got my determination and I was like, I'm going to freaking make something of myself no matter what it is. So
I feel like, speaking from experiences like as well, I feel like that's like the first step of like really changing your lifestyle in general, is removing yourself from that toxic environment, whatever that looks like for you.
yeah.
Because you are kind of, in general in life, you are the sum of your surroundings.
Yeah.
I was
So
going
if
to say that.
you're in a shitty situation and you don't do anything about it, you're going to just fall in further to that shitty situation.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can relate to that a lot. So I thought that was like, we had a common ground there, and I thought that was really inspiring, and kind of wanted to dive into that a little bit more.
Yeah.
How have you seen like your choices over the last several years change just like your overall lifestyle and where you want to continue to grow and continue to be?
Yeah. So my choices, I'll start with, again, just kind of where this led me to. I think that I'm supposed to be doing what I'm doing. I think that God has kind of pointed me in this direction. So
which is an amazing feeling to have.
It is. And like,
and not everybody gets that.
my wife tells me all the time, she's like, how do you just not have any anxiety about stuff? And I'm like, I mean, I think that everything's already planned out for me. I'm just following the path.
Yeah.
So, which is pretty freeing. Obviously I have to work hard and do things, but it's like, I know that the direction I'm going in is what I'm supposed to be doing. So, some of the other things that happened in Columbia that kind of pointed me towards that direction is, so the guy, I was shadowed the Mizzou chiropractor Brittany Ramirez.
Mm-hmm.
She was awesome. And then she invited me to this dinner for people that were interested in going to Logan. So I went, and I'm, talking to her, talking to some of my future classmates. And she's like, oh, here comes my husband. And the guy walks in, and I was like, man, this guy looks so familiar. Why does he look so familiar? He was the guy that talked to me my freshman year in my class at Lindenwood. So it was like kind of a cool little full circle moment.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And I was like, all right, well, that kind of blew my mind a little bit. So I was like, I have to be in the right place, doing the right thing. So, and then fast forward to last year in the spring, I gave a lecture at Lindenwood in the same class that he came to as a chiropractor, which was pretty sick.
Cool.
Yeah. Very full circle, I'm sure, for you.
Yeah, it was like kind of a cool day.
Yeah.
But, man, what were we saying? What was your question again?
Like how
Line.
Sorry. Line, please. How have you seen, I guess, like the pathway being paved for you to like be successful now, but also in the future?
Gotcha. So like I said, just
like
that
those stepping stones.
Yeah, just different things laying down, pointing me in certain directions. Like I actually thought about going to school to be a massage therapist before a chiropractor. And then my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, was like, I mean, that'll be cool, but you should really go try this. And I was like, okay. So I like credit it to her too, because she was like, you need to go do this. I think you're going to be way better at this, which I'm glad she did have me do that, because obviously it's ending up in my favor.
Yeah.
But so whenever I was going through Logan, I kind of had an idea of how I wanted to practice. I knew that I didn't just want to do adjustments. I knew that I wanted to incorporate some rehab stuff. I started working at F45 probably after my first year at Logan.
So I guess you were feeling like, because you were burnt out on athletics, but you were feeling kind of inspired now again, I guess, from the chiropractic stuff.
Yeah, I was burnt out on athletics, but I still enjoyed exercising, and I wanted to help people. So when I was working in Columbia at that gym, I was also doing personal training on the side, and people would obviously come in with different injuries and stuff. And I would find myself giving them some corrective exercises and things like, hey, let's try this stretch here and here. And people were like, wow, I feel so much better. And I was like, well, this is kind of fulfilling. I like this. So I was like, I like making people feel good. So that kind of pointed me in that direction too. When I was working at F45, I started just going there to work out first, because I was like gaining some weight from being in school at Logan, and I was like, this is a new kind of exciting gym. I'm gonna go try it out. I met Dr. Chad, who I work with at Health Source. You guys both know him. And he was like, well, you should come in and check the place out and come shadow. So I went and shadowed, and I liked that it had kind of everything all in one place.
Maybe I'm just uneducated in this world about that stuff, but I feel like I know that there's multiple health sources probably, right?
Yeah, it's a franchise.
I feel like they are kind of a unicorn in the chiropractic world, though, because I am unaware of another place that offers like PT, but also like movement and like all the things that we need to maintain our mobility, but also chiropractic. Yeah,
they're doing a good job of being something a little bit different, kind of offering everything. Most places that you'll find that do that are kind of just oddball personal practice that somebody's like, I just want to build this place that has everything in it. It's very rare that you find a franchise that does kind of everything.
Have you ever thought about owning your own practice?
Yeah, so the goal is to buy this Health Source. Yeah. And then I want to eventually have multiple, because I love what I do, but I don't want to work forever. So
you like the Health Source franchise?
Yeah, I think it's a good model. I will say that we do a bit more on the rehab side than most health sources do. They do a good job, but I think just me, Dr. Jeff, our knowledge on rehab, we like to add extra stuff that's not really in like the Health Source system. Yeah. So for everybody that comes in, we check their movement assessment along with when we do their new patient exam, and with what they have going on, that bases what kind of exercises they get. So it's all personal for everybody. Nobody has the same exact exercises. But then we just take it a step further and add in some more kind of new age stuff that is...
Or you do like, you get a mat and you torture people just to...
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my God.
We torture them and then make them feel good.
Yeah. I also feel like that you, and maybe you can speak a little bit about this, but like it's similar with Mark at Omen, how like you have created, I feel like, a community inside of your own health source that is very much like vibrant and alive. And like, if you go there, like, you know, everyone who goes there, everyone knows each other, that type of thing. And it's just a really like positive environment to be in, even though you're quote unquote just going to your chiropractor.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that that's one of my favorite parts of the job actually is all the networking and getting, you know, cool people to come into the office and just be there as part of the experience. And like you said, Mark does an awesome job of that at Omen. So we try to create the same thing, is just create a good environment, because we know that when people are positive and optimistic about their health, their outcomes are better. So if somebody comes in and they're like, man, I don't know if I'm going to get better, like I'm still hurting, like you're more than likely going to stay that way for longer. But if you come in and you're like, okay, I'm in pain, but I'm here and I'm going to do something about it and I'm going to feel better, you normally feel better.
And that ultimately attracts more people that are in that mindset.
Exactly.
Or changes the people's minds that are like, I'm hurt, I'm never going to get better, but they see all these people getting better and they're like optimistic when they come in.
Exactly. And they're like, well, dang, if they're getting better, maybe I will get better. So it's really cool to have that environment. I'm pretty blessed with our patients. I do think we have the best patients around for sure. Whenever I first got there, it was a lot of just general population.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah. And it was fun, but I was like, I want to like freshen this place up a little bit.
And was it just Chad at that point?
Yeah, so it was just him and then somebody that helped with rehab and a front desk. So when I first got there, we were seeing probably like a busy day was 35 people.
Jeez, that's low.
You guys see like 80.
It's close to 80 some days now, which is cool. We need to
and they're like
we need to kick
all
down
yours,
the wall
aren't
and
they?
get some more a good amount of them.
How many are going to leave with Jeff when he goes? You think?
I don't know. I don't think too many are going to leave,
Just because
but
of where the location is.
yeah, I think that he's going to have a pretty successful spot out there in St. Peter's.
Yeah.
Was there a moment where like you started to see kind of a shift in that community aspect when you were there? Like you started, I'm having a hard time like forming my words about it, but like there are people who frequent there who also frequent other areas that you frequent. So like, was there a shift in that, or do you think it's just like a networking, like people you know, that type of thing?
Second part of that question, the same topic. How did you go about ushering that change in? Because you said it was and I can kind of picture like the client base that probably existed when you got there. How did you go into ushering into that, like what it is now? Yeah,
so part of it was the fact that I worked at F45 that helped a lot. Because even when I was in clinic at Logan, people would come from F45 to see me there. And just because I was their trainer and I was like, hey, I know your back hurts when you're doing squats. You should come see me in clinic so I can work on you.
Sense.
So that helped just getting more of that athletic population in there. Chad has a good relationship with Burn Boot Camp that's down the road. So we had some of their members in there too. But just me going and like trying out different gyms. It's not like I was going in there with the agenda to like get patients. I was literally going there to work out, and I would end up just becoming friends with like the trainers and the managers. And then they would come in to see me because they're like, oh, something's bugging me. Do you want me to come in? I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And then now we just have a good relationship to where that if anything happens to any of their members, they send people in. I mean, one of those is Janice. You guys know her. She's like one of my favorite people ever. But I was just like on Instagram one day and saw one of her stories, and she was talking about knee pain. And I was like, hey, I'm a chiropractor. I know we haven't met, but if you want to come in, like I'll take a look at your knee for you.
Yeah. And
she came in. It was actually a pretty cool moment after we did her workup and everything. I adjusted her. It was our first ever adjustment. And I was like, well, stand up and see how the knee feels. I did a bunch of other stuff other than adjustment, obviously. But I was like, see how the knee feels. And she did a squat and she was like, oh my God, it doesn't hurt. And she like started crying. And at first I was like, oh shit, why are you crying?
Yeah.
She was like, this is amazing. Like it doesn't hurt. I feel great.
Oh my God, that's
And
awesome.
then ever since then, she's just been like sending me anybody that needs anything at F45 Dogtown that she's at, she sends anybody. So that's been cool.
I feel like there is like something about the energy that is like, at least in like the F45 world or like the supplement superstore world, First Form, people are fiercely loyal in those areas, and I feel like they're driven people, and so they trust the ones who are in their circle, and I feel like you have made like your name in that, and so that's kind of where people go is they go to who they recommend.
Yeah, First Form and S2 have been amazing, and I love working with all those people and just the population in general, because like you said, they care about their health, they care about progressing and bettering themselves, so they're more likely to adhere to treatment. It's not like they're going to be skipping their appointments. They're like, no, I need to go here to get better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. How has like that mentality, because you, like Alex said, you are the sum of you surround yourself with. And like, that's one of the reasons why we like coming to Health Source, is because we're like-minded people, we're driven people. How is that like when you go back home? What's that like?
I get a little depressed whenever I go back home sometimes, because I just see a lot of just stagnation. Everything's usually the same when I go back there, and I'm usually always about growth.
Yeah.
So I try to do my best to like pull them out of that, but I'm just not in that spot yet where I can be like, just buy my parents a house and be like, yeah, you guys should move here and just get away from this place. But
Have you, like, this might be like more of like an intimate question. You can answer it however you feel comfortable. But like, has there been a point where like you feel like you have to distance yourself for like your mental health from that?
I completely cut off my siblings for like probably 6 or 7 years until they got their shit together, and then I've allowed them back into my lives.
Yeah.
But yeah, my sister was addicted to heroin for a while, and my mom had her kids while she was going through all that. But then she went through rehab and cleaned up, and she got her own house and got her kids back and is working. So she's doing awesome. She's been sober for a few years now, so she's killing it.
Yeah.
And then my brother was in prison for a while because he got assaulted and wound up stabbing somebody, and it was just a whole situation. So he was in prison for a while. So yeah, I basically just distanced myself from them, because at this point I was away in college. So I was like, I am trying to change everything around. So I'm going to just get the heck away from you guys.
Yeah. And that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
I've had to do that multiple times. And I'm actually like on like round, oh my God, I don't even know how many of like distancing myself from my family, just because we've talked about this already, but like we felt like this year is there's something about 2024 that's like shifting for us specifically. And I have quickly realized like I have to refocus myself and not allow the toxicity into my life. And personally, my family is a lot of that. So I have to be really careful about who I surround myself with, because it will bring me down. I'm very sensitive in that way. So aligning ourselves with people like you, with like Mark and Chloe, like those are the people that, continue to uplift us.
And it's funny, not funny, but it's interesting that you mentioned like the people we surround ourselves with, because I feel like it's a super common thing for anybody to say that like for self-development, you want to be around people that are high achievers, driven people that are just going to ultimately push you higher, and you collectively push each other higher. Mm-hmm. But I feel like in general, people look at that and say, your friends, your friend group, stuff like that. I think it's even a step further in that, and we've talked about this, like where we go to the chiropractor at, because it's not just you and the people we know, but like the client base. Even though I don't know anybody in there, the energy and the vibe, it just, as soon as you walk in, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you don't have to know anyone in there to know that it's
got the music
there.
bumping. Everybody's usually having a good time.
Yeah.
Because I think that you probably know this, but it's not a short drive for us to come see you.
It's a haul. Yeah.
It's like a 25-minute round, about an hour, whole round trip.
When there's not traffic.
Yeah, when there's not traffic. But we choose that because we want to continue to put ourselves in the right environments to set us up for success.
I mean, we went to the gym on Wednesday before we came to see you. So we went to St. Charles, further away, and
Just
then
to circle back around.
back to Baldwin.
Yeah, and then the opposite way to go back home.
Love you guys for that.
But yeah, I feel like, obviously that's something like we all will probably continue to do, but like what do you think is like next for you?
So my goal is to buy Health Source.
Yeah.
And continue to grow. Hopefully we can get the space next door and expand.
Yeah.
The bubble tea place or the other place?
The other place, the massage place.
Okay.
The problem is they own both of them.
Oh.
The same person?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't ever see anybody go into the massage place.
Is it a front?
So it might be money laundering. I don't know. Somebody post outside with some cameras and see if they can find anything so we can get them out of there.
I have been told I could be a good private investigator.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
You've
on
told
it.
yourself that.
I've proven it. I've proven it many, many times.
This whole podcast is me just roasting the shit out of Alex.
Because I forgot to hit record.
Yeah.
The kicker is that space was open to buy like right when I got there as an intern, but Chad turned it down because we were only seeing 30-something people a day. So he was like, I'm not going to spend $90K to do a build out over here if we're not seeing that many people, which now we're like kicking ourselves.
Yeah.
But like I said, that's the goal, is to buy that, and then eventually a few more, and just have a few franchises where I can kind of pop in and work on who I want to work on and just sit back and run the business.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I don't want to work forever, even though I love what I do.
Nobody wants to work forever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to go travel and see all the stuff that I haven't seen yet.
Most people's why behind why they want to run their own business is because they want freedom of they want their time back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it's ironic, because to be a business owner, you have to put in so much more time in the front end.
I bet that you
Just to
kind
get
of
that
already
back.
feel like you're a business owner.
It does seem like that sometimes. Whenever
From an outside perspective, it appears that way.
Yeah.
Just from like how much I know that you are there a lot.
Yeah.
I'm sure that you're going to be there even more when you do take over, like, officially. But you're there. I mean, you're there until like 7, right?
Yeah. So Monday, Wednesday, Thursdays, we're there pretty much from like 7 to 7.
Yeah, that's a long day. That's
And
a long
then,
day.
but Tuesdays are just the afternoon and Fridays just the morning. So
yeah.
it kind of evens out a little bit. And then I don't work weekends.
Yeah.
Unless obviously somebody has an emergency and I have to go up there. But
Or if
it's
you're going
pretty
to
rare.
like a gym or something and doing a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that just on
Like
my own.
PR
I
type
don't even
stuff.
get paid for that. I just like doing it.
I bet
It also helps you network.
Yeah.
I bet your discipline that you've learned like from football and stuff, like with your timing and your time management, has like really helped you and set you up for success now. Because what does like you get up probably super early to work out before you even get to work?
Yeah. Some days I'll wake up at like 3:45. It depends on which gym I'm going to.
How do you do
5?
this? Because I'm curious.
How
Because we're
in-
trying to get 6, and 6 is hard.
Yeah, give us some motivation and tips, please.
So there's two things. One, Will Grumpke that works for First Form, he puts, like, you know, when you set your alarm, you can type what your alarm is for. He'll type things in there to be like, when your alarm goes off and you look at it, that makes you want to get up. Like his is, don't let the team down.
Oh.
So if he looks at it, he's
Interesting.
like, I got to get up. So I thought that was awesome,
That is cool.
but we use a hatch alarm. So we wake up with light, not the sound,
Oh.
which helps too. It's a lot.
What's
It's
that?
a lot better. Do you ever heard of a hatch?
No.
So, it's going to change your
Just
life.
turn the lights on?
Yeah.
F that,
So,
bro.
you know,
Nah.
like when your phone alarm goes off and it just jolts you awake and you get all this anxiety. And then anytime that you hear that noise, you have anxiety because
Every time.
Exactly. So what a hatch alarm does is it gradually lights up the room. It looks kind of like an Alexa, but it lights up the
Oh.
room.
So it's a
and it's
light.
like the color of sun. So it wakes you up with sun, not blue light. But and then you can have like birds chirping as your alarm, and then
Oh,
it
so
plays.
it's peaceful.
Yeah, it is. It's a much nicer way to wake up. You just kind of like gradually wake up because you're like, why is it bright in here? And you're like, oh.
Does
it's
your
time to get
wife
up.
need to be up as early as you do?
Not always. She does
Okay.
usually get up because she's still in grad school, so
Okay.
she'll get up and study, or she gets up pretty early and goes to
Yeah.
clinical. But on the mornings that I go to Project Power in O'Fallon, I wake up at 3:45 because it's a 30-minute drive. Just like what you guys said, I like the environment and the people there, so I make the drive because it's worth it for me.
Yeah.
And then when I want to go to the gym, Iron Hive next to my office, I'll sleep in until
What time does Project Power open?
I think they're open 24/7. You just go
Okay.
with your key fob and
Oh, okay.
ding
Okay.
in. But
When you go and you get there at 4,
Okay, I have to say this now.
Usually.
hold on. How many people are in there?
oh, it's busy in there. The 5
Bro,
o'clock
4
hour is busy.
o'clock?
Okay, I have to say this because
Oh
it's been
my
festering for the
God.
last
So I
week.
get there at like 5, and it's
Okay.
always busy.
It's festering for the last week.
Okay.
Club Fitness is getting called out right now
Oh God, they're
because they
shitting.
gave they're calling us legacy members now, and they're giving us all the big middle finger, even though I've been paying for a membership consistently. We've both been since 2013. It's been 11 years.
yeah, it's a while.
And all of a sudden, they're like, well, we want to make you pay more. So the legacy members, you only get single club access during work hours, period. We've been paying for like the any club, 24 hours, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Now that package is over double the price that I was paying. And I took a picture of the sign because they're getting called out on Instagram too. But when you pay for a
Alex is
membership
out
at
for
someone
blood.
like Project Power, is it just automatically just assumed you can come anytime you want?
Yeah, I mean, they only have, it's like a membership, and then they just add, so they do classes there too. And I'm good friends with all their trainers, so I like going to their classes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mike and Jono and Sam. So I think they have like their base membership where just gets you open access to the gym. You can go there and lift whenever you want to. And then they have another package that includes the classes that you can go and you can sign up for unlimited classes. Otherwise, if you just have the regular base package, when you want to do a class, it's just $10.
Yeah.
Gotcha. See, that's where it came in, because it was Wednesday.
Well, we already know that we're not going to
be there much longer anyway, so I'm not worried about it. But it did piss me off, because I was thinking, I'm not going to need to go 24/7, because I used to go at like late at night.
But
sometimes.
we would like to be in there at like 6:30, but now we can't go
But
in.
like,
Yeah, it's nice to have the option.
Yeah,
Because on
we
the
got
off
there at
day where
6:30
you guys
on
might be able to get in there at a different time, and now you can't. You're
we
just
got there like
well,
6:45, I think, on Wednesday. And I didn't realize they didn't have employees there at 6:45 on Wednesday, because everything online says
Thank
24
God there was
hours.
another guy that was trying to get in.
So I'm like,
He
you know
let
what?
us in.
Screw this. I'm going to work out.
Yeah.
that
So,
would piss me off too.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm very, very unhappy with it at
Okay,
the moment.
so
as you can
the
tell.
hatch alarm, and then what else?
Sorry.
How do I get
Can't
up?
Oh,
How do I wake up?
I like I don't remember who originally does it, but you just count to 3. So like when you lay there, when your alarm goes off and you're like, I don't want to get up. You literally just go 3, 2, 1, and you just do it.
Full send.
Full send. Because then once you stand up, you're like, oh, okay. I'm
See,
up.
you don't get yourself up.
Do we really want to go into this conversation?
Not today, Alex.
Not today.
Pick your battles.
I'm already in trouble for not hitting record.
Okay. I really don't want to expose you, but I'm in the mentality where I will.
It's
Pick your
a
battles.
new year. It's 24.
Speaking of the alarm, the light thing, I don't know why I did this. It was the dumbest thing ever. I made my alarm sound for a while the air raid siren on Apple.
There's
So
no
it was
way
like,
in hell I could do that.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, terrible.
And now if I hear that, I still get anxiety.
It's
because I'm like,
angry.
Mine was just like the
Ugh.
regular iPhone ring.
That's-
So I would be
yeah.
like somewhere and somebody's phone ring. I was like, ugh.
so now I have I was like, I'll get something like more uplifting, melodic, and I still hate that ringtone now.
Yeah. Dude, we should try the hash
You
thing.
need some
That
birds
sounds
chirping.
good.
It's
Because the
very
sun's
peaceful.
not up when we want to get up.
It's a good way to wake up.
Yeah.
I do have a pretty good sleep routine too. So I fall asleep on a dime. A lot of
Yeah.
people stay up and think about stuff. As soon as my head hits that pillow, I have maybe 3 minutes and I'm
Yeah,
gone.
I have to decompress from my day.
Mm-hmm.
And typically that looks like scrolling on TikTok, which is so bad. But
That's a problem.
That's bad. I do the
another
same
story for
thing,
another
though.
day.
Not TikTok, but I'm still on my phone.
I have to decompress and turn my brain off, because I'm constantly, even right now, I'm already thinking about 10 other things I have to do when I get home. So I have to literally shut my brain off and just do nonsense before I
think-
go to bed, or else I'll lay in bed and continue to think about work.
I think
that's what
part
my
of
wife
it.
does.
I think part of it is that rather than just going to bed, we'll watch TV and you'll fall asleep, hard fall asleep on the couch.
And then I have to wake up
And
again.
we have to wait. You have to wake up and then go to
Yeah.
bed.
And then you're up and then it's hard to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
we just need to start. If it's 9 o'clock and you're
need-
sleeping, well, I guess we're going to bed at 9.
I need to have a good routine. Yeah. Structure.
That was one of the things that we tried to make a point of New Year's last year in 2023 was to just be better about our sleep routine, because we would do that same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We'd always fall asleep on the couch watching TV, wake up at 2 a.m. and go up to bed. But then I'm like, well, now I'm wide awake. So you'd lay there for an hour and then get to sleep, and you wake up in the middle of your sleep cycle and you're exhausted. So
Yeah.
we were like, all right, we're going to no matter what, if it hits 10 o'clock, no matter what we're doing, we're going up to get ready for bed.
Yeah. For us, it's and it's been this way throughout our whole marriage, we won't go to bed without one another.
Yeah.
So, and he's typically not ready, and so I fall asleep because I'm always ready to go to bed. So I wait, and then I fall asleep, and then he wakes me up. But yeah, we should just
Maybe we do need a TV in the bedroom.
no,
It's a terrible
no. I'm a hard no on it, but I have
Because
brought
you
it
fall
up.
asleep on the couch to the TV. So if instead of laying on the couch to watch TV, you lay in bed to watch TV.
I don't love the idea.
You pass out. You're already there. I just turn the TV off.
I mean,
and
you
don't
just
have
put a mini TV in front of your face.
yeah.
So
That's terrible.
Not that
You're
different.
just mad you won't be able
It's
to scroll
terrible.
on TikTok. You just
no,
go to bed.
It's fine. I can go to bed. Okay, so what is one myth about chiropractic that most people have
It's a
that you can
pseudoscience.
smash right now?
That cracking your knuckles is bad for you.
Oh, bless
Everybody
it,
thinks
because
it's
I do it all the
gonna
time.
give you arthritis. There
Then
was
why
a-
do I get pain like right?
you just got
he's
cut it off.
kidding.
I need to talk to you about that on next week.
Dude, I do it all the time.
There was somebody that he took x-rays of both of his hands and he only popped the knuckles on one hand for something crazy like 6 years. And then,
my
he,
God.
and then he x-rayed it again and they both looked the exact
What
same.
an
So there was like
experiment.
no
So
test.
he did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God, that's kind of funny.
Just to test it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So he was willing to just sacrifice that hand
Yeah.
just in case, or he was
Would
just
have
that
had some
confident
big
that
knuckles if he would have listened to his mom.
just that confident that it was not going to be an issue.
Yeah, a lot of people think that like all the popping and stuff leads to arthritis, but it's really not. That's what keeps you from getting arthritis, is because giving motion in there.
Yeah.
But probably the biggest myth I'll say is that chiropractors like actually moving bones, like your bones are shifted this way and you're cranking them back the other way, and that it's your bones popping. It's not. They're gas bubbles inside your body. Nitrogen gas that gets pulled out of the surrounding tissues whenever you gap a joint, and then that bubble pops and it creates the popping noise.
Interesting. Okay.
So tell me why there's no such thing as a slip disc. What would it have been instead, potentially?
You probably just strained your muscle over
muscles?
there and then you had a spasm. But obviously I would have to do
Or
a little bit of an
inflammation or
exam to do
something.
it. But yeah,
It's been like 15 years.
so like a
good
slip
now.
disc, they say a slip disc.
I've been told I had that too.
Is like your spine has slipped and the disc is poking out or something. That,
Yeah, that's
that
what they said.
doesn't-
That's
Yeah,
what
it
they
doesn't really happen unless you're in like a traumatic injury and you have something called like a spondylolisthesis where your vertebrae actually does break and shift back.
Which you would probably be paralyzed.
I would.
At that
I mean,
point.
if your bone shifted that much, like if you had a dislocation like that, you could harm the spinal cord, and you'd have
Yeah.
some major symptoms. But if you were just kind of
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
had a tweak over there,
wasn't
then
that
you
bad.
probably didn't. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that we could dive into the rabbit hole with disc bulges and herniations. That like 70% of people walking around have disc bulges. They're just asymptomatic.
Yeah.
So that's why when you go, we try to use imaging sparingly, because if you go somewhere and you see an MRI and they're like, you have all these disc bulges, even though you don't have low back pain, then that person's going to associate their diagnosis
become-
with that. And then they're going to be like, oh, I can't ever deadlift. I have disc bulges, even though it
Or they're
never
going to create
bothered
their
them
own
before.
somatic pain.
Exactly.
Speaking of that, I have been thinking about this now that like we're frequenting the gym. I, for like the last several years, get out of here.
You're talking to the
Just
side of the mic.
I, for the last several years, have not done like deadlifts or like
Squats.
or free weight, like free squats without the Smith machine. I'm
Yeah, squats.
still terrified because of my lower back pain, which you have like basically cured. But like I'm scared that I'm gonna fuck something up.
Yeah. So there's a story that I like to tell for people that are worried about this, because a lot of people think that, even if something's a little bit aggravated and they do that activity, they're going to continue to hurt themselves. But it's not really that you're damaging tissue. It's just that an area is irritated and you're just irritating a little more. So I like to say it's like you have a sunburn and you're getting into the shower. You're not further burning your skin anymore. It's just the water's hot and it's a little painful.
Because more sensitive.
Exactly. So the story with pain is that, so a person's walking through the woods and they just feel something brush their ankle and they're like, oh, whatever, it's probably a stick, and they just keep walking. And then they have excruciating pain in their leg and they fall down because they were really bit by a snake and they almost die. So then from that point forward, every time they walk through the woods, if they feel like a stick brush their leg, they freak out and jump and they're like, and they feel that pain, because pain is a learned behavior. Their brain will make you feel pain even if there's no damage in the area.
It's the insect thing that you deal with.
So since you had pain in your lower back before doing those things, even if you don't have pain in your lower back now, you feel like that you're going to have that pain again because your brain is tricking you.
I feel like it's also a lot about form.
Yeah.
And I haven't done these things in years, even when I was consistently in the gym. So I really need to pay attention to my form.
You probably were like, you hadn't gone and seen Wyatt like we did.
No.
Either. So like,
Yeah.
it could be better now because you're more like
Even today, just doing shoulders and like upper body, I had Alex come over and I was like, please watch my form. I don't want to mess something up.
Yeah, and that's
Because
totally
I've
fine.
had a bad experience before. I'm just like hyper aware of it
I was
now,
like,
I
your
guess.
form's good. Your right side's stronger than your left, though.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing with that is just like everybody talks about deadlifts and squats being bad for your back or whatever. It's just that whoever hurt themselves tried to do too much weight too fast.
Yeah.
And that's when you have an injury. So
Those
you
are
have
the
to
best 2 exercises you can do.
Exactly. You have to gradually load those tissues or they're going to hurt. So it's just like with any motion, you're designed to move all through these ranges of motion. Your spine is designed to flex. It's designed to bend to the side. If you don't do those motions is whenever you start getting pain, because then your body starts to lock you into like a stiff, rigid position.
Yeah.
So that's like same thing. People are always like, oh, you got to sit with good posture when you're working on stuff. There's no such thing as good posture.
I was going to bring that up, but I didn't know, like,
Good
you told me
posture
that.
is what you are in for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You can sit straight up for 10 minutes. You can sit this way for 10 minutes. The key is constant movement. If
Yeah.
you sit with what they call perfect posture for 20 years, you're not going to be able to bend over to touch your toes because you've been locked straight up for so long. It's the same if you sit slouched for 20 years, you're going to have a hard time extending backwards.
Right.
It's if
If you
you're
stay
that
look at your phone like this for
Exactly.
20 years, your neck's going to be forward.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, I don't have anything else. Do you have anything, Alex?
I just had a couple of thoughts while he was talking, but it's not really like a conversational thing. But like, you brought up Mark, and it's funny because this is the thing Mark said too. And ever since he said this, I've just constantly thought about it. And he made the comment that these days, if you want to do something well, you only have to do the bare minimum, because that is what everybody.
The basics.
The basics.
Yeah.
You just have to do the basics well, because that's what everybody defaults to. And most people will do that, see success, and just live there. I see the chiropractors that I've seen my whole life there.
Yeah.
I think what you guys are doing is exactly what you should be doing, and going above and beyond that, the basics, because the basics aren't going to solve the problem.
Yeah.
And that's where I come to the why. Why is a business thing, but I think it's a life thing too. There's always a why behind something. So if you are in pain, why are you in pain?
Exactly. It's not just what is causing your pain, it's why are you having this pain.
I know that, like, you spoke a little bit about that on the podcast that you were just on, but like a shortened version of that, and we'll plug the other podcast too for everybody to go listen. But like, if you could just share a little bit about that here too, that'd be great.
Yeah. So usually when people come in, we look for like 2 diagnoses, kind of what's going on, if it's something structural, like if they have a disc herniation, things like that. But then really the underlying diagnosis of why. So that's usually the bigger one, because most people that come in with pain, it's not structural damage. It's something that they might have tweaked. And then, like we talked about earlier, their brain's giving them pain. But then it's my job to kind of uncover the whole puzzle piece of why they're having that pain, because they might be having low back pain, but it could be because their ankle doesn't move well whenever they're trying to do squats, and it's causing something all the way up the chain. So if you don't do your due diligence and work along that chain and understand how all of that works together, and then also explain it to the patient, because they're going to be like, I want you to work on my back. I'm like, I'm going to work on your back, but I also need to work on this ankle.
Yeah.
So that's the why.
Yeah. That's good. That makes sense.
It's not always staring in your face.
Yeah. I mean, when I was like, when we started coming to you, I was like, I have lower back pain, and I thought it was just my lower back pain, but it was like my hips. And then also like, I need to like get abs. So there's that. Still working on it.
Need some stability.
Yeah. But yeah, that's good. I like that. Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Kind of tying into what you were saying, I think that a lot of people are just doing the bare minimum, and then when you get somebody that does a little bit extra, I think it draws a lot of attention. So
And I think that the atmosphere, but also that definitely plays into it. Because when we had that second call, or that second appointment with you, you gave me the rundown. You said it'll be this many appointments. I want you to see me 3 days a week. I'm like, dang, 3 adjustments a week? That's a lot. And then you said, okay, we got some exercise. I'm like, hold up. What'd you say? I didn't come to physical therapy here.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's ultimately I think that is what fixed it, not necessarily I mean, I had some soft tissue issues that I really needed to work with, but which we're still dealing with.
Yeah. It's kind of all of it together.
Yeah.
And then kind of going to what you guys were talking about on the podcast before, or the other day I was listening to, just the imposter syndrome stuff. So I think that what you were touching on earlier, surrounding yourself with good people that you can kind of lean on, helps get rid of some of that imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Just surround yourself with good people.
Like
Absolutely.
Even if they are at a higher place than you, where you want to be, doesn't mean you're any less, because those people were there at one point too.
Which is, I mentioned to you when we saw you earlier this week, I was like, I I don't want to be at club. I want to be at like Project Power or like the Hive or something. I'm struggling with imposter syndrome right now because although I've been an athlete like all of my life, I feel like I've been out of the gym. I'm so out of touch. It's hard for me to picture myself in an environment like that where everybody is just so badass and like absolutely killing it. And I'm over here lifting 5-pound weights. Like that's, bro, like that's a no for me, dog.
You're a badass. You can do it.
That's kind of where I was at. Like,
So I told
Sort
Alex,
of,
I was like,
sort
we're going to
of.
be at club for like a hot minute and then we'll leave.
yeah. So like when I started working out in high school and then went through college and then ended up doing exercise science and then I ended up quitting sports and needed something to fill that time and that need to, be active. I became basically obsessed with exercise. And I got my personal training thing before I finished school, which I didn't finish completely, which I can talk about that later. And I was just, from the time I was in, sophomore, junior in high school, all the way up until recently, my life has been very dedicated to making sure that I'm exercising all the time.
Yeah.
And then running a business takes
A lot of your time.
And what's the first thing that I let go of?
Your health.
Yeah.
My health.
Yeah.
So a little over a year and a half ago, I remember when it was because we went to the beach as a family, like the first huge family vacation that we ever took with like 20 people at a beach house.
Dang.
I was like, okay, I'm going to exercise. I'm going to bring some bands. I'm going to work out on the beach. I'm going to find something to do. And I did that. I did 4 workouts that week. And then I got back and I stayed in the gym and then busy season hits and immediately I stopped going and I make excuses and I forget about it. So I got so far removed at one point that I became ashamed subconsciously that this was my identity for so long. Mm-hmm. And now I was that guy that was just like killing it in the gym all the time and just constantly making progress. And she makes a joke like, I could be out of the gym for 4 months and then get back in and I'm right back where I was left.
You already are. It's annoying.
That comes with where, like, when you do it for so long, that is true.
Yeah.
But I was at it for so long, I've been out of it for so long, more than I've ever been in my life, that I'm like, I am not that person anymore. I am the person that's trying to make that change for the first time. And I don't want to go in and be like, I'm in a long way saying I was ashamed of myself. So getting back in the gym became harder.
But that also, like, because we took such a large gap, like, we completely reclused ourselves, like, because we were just so busy and, like, in our work and, like, everything else in our life kind of took a pause. Even our friendships, who we surrounded ourselves with, like, we didn't hang out with anybody. And we have seen that have a huge negative impact. And that's why this year, like, we have decided, like, we can't allow ourselves to it just be us. And for a while, like, we always feel fulfilled with, like, just each other, but we do need other people around us. Cause it's not fair to Alex to put all of my, like, weight on him to continue to inspire me. Yeah. And he has done that for so long. I need other people to take that weight off of him because it's not his responsibility to inspire me every day.
I'm gaining too much weight.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't need any more of that.
I think because I've gone through similar things, just breaks from the gym. And like when I first started Logan, I didn't work out that much, hurt my back, gained like 35 pounds before I started going back to the gym. I think that part of it is I've made it selfishly surrounding myself with all these people that are into fitness at the office. So I think
it's so important.
It's like I almost have to do it now because it's part of what I do and who I am.
You're going to be the only one not doing it.
Exactly.
Well, and I think,
you have to practice what you preach.
Yeah, and I think like there's this weird thought process when you're trying to, and we always allude back to gym, but it's because taking care of yourself ultimately affects every other part of your life. But there's this weird mental block that I think a lot of people have, that when they see like fit people who we're talking about, they automatically think that, oh, I'm nobody. They're gonna just laugh at me and think I'm nobody. It's 100% the opposite.
Yeah, it's the exact opposite.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
They want to help you. They want to push you to get to their level.
And I know that, but like I just feel so far removed from it at this point that it's hard for me to put myself in there. And I just also have like social anxiety and like all of these other things that I personally have to like overcome. But there's a lot of things that I deal with that. Like it's hard for
But
me.
think about how much you're going to grow when you do that.
I know.
You're going to be an animal this year.
Brian's going to squat like 400 pounds this year.
Get out.
We'll get you
Get
there.
out.
I did want to touch on one thing before we stop.
Okay,
Yeah.
This will be the last thing. And then
I did have good grades all throughout undergrad and Logan. I just wasn't good in high school.
Yeah.
Hey, you know-
Yeah, why it's like I'm not an idiot.
you had a
guys.
2.8, right? In high school?
2.8 in high school,
Michael
but I was
So
Jordan.
did LeBron James.
Oh,
Hey, there you
LeBron
go.
James.
I
Wait,
was on the dean's list all
Yeah,
through
LeBron.
Lindenwood and into Logan.
Nice.
So
wait, was it LeBron James?
Yeah.
We were talking about Michael Jordan last night. That's why.
And I was just saying, LeBron came out of high school. The joke is that he only came out of high school right away and didn't go to college because he couldn't get into college.
that's actually hilarious.
That's the joke.
Jabron Lanes.
Just to let you guys know I'm not stupid.
Yeah. He is a doctor. He's
Did
very smart.
make it through chiropractic school, and he is successful.
Hey, if you get
Yeah.
a C at Logan or below a C in your classes, you get kicked out. So
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow. I would not pass. I'm not book smart in every, like, I'm book smart with like social studies and like history and English. Everything else is like not
Math and
for
science.
me. Not for me. Don't ask me to do math or science.
I'm a math and science guy.
Alex is
I
math
can't
and
do
science.
math, but I love science, which usually go hand in hand. So it's weird.
Well, you're a doctor, so that makes sense. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
should see my signature. It's very doctor-esque.
Is it?
So is mine.
Just chicken scratch.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for hanging out with us today. We really
Where
appreciate
can
Thank you
it.
so much for
Find you.
having me. You guys can follow me on Instagram at Dr. Wyatt Mohrmann.
Okay. And then go check them out at Health Source in Baldwin if you guys are local. If you're not local, sucks for you. I don't know what else to say.
I'm sure he'll fly to you for the right price.
Hey, I do have a folding table.
He will come to you
There
for
you
the
go.
right price.
There you go. Send your private jet. Pick them up.
Please do. That'd be sick.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm going to start making this like a new thing because it pays homage to Jenna Marbles and I love her. So catch us next week every Monday/Tuesday. All right. Peace.